They play the devil's game but won't take the devil's name. This quote by Anton LaVey, directed toward white witches, modern pagans, and such, was one of the inspirational factors that led to the establishment of the sect of the Horn God. Because, like the Black Pope, I'm no fan of their ilk. Now, I will admit there are a few groups out there that at least are trying to get it right by daring to venture into the primordial carnal aspects. But most don't come close. This is because they play by modern rules, like the Judeo-Christian virtues of faith, compassion, humility, and so on. Now, my frustration with the witches, modern pagans, druids, and so on does not stem from ignorance. I've dipped my toe in their patchouli-scented pool a couple of times, starting when I first got into the occult as a kid, and then later in 1990 when I became the archdruid of a Celtic revivalist group. Even though I identified as a Satanist and was on the left-hand path, I was and still am a history buff, and the Celts at that time were my obsession. So I researched both modern and historical druidism, and it didn't take long before I decided that modern druidism was bullshit. I have another video with that title. Check it out. Today's druidism has next to nothing to do with what we know from history. Now, I am aware that the druids left no written records, and what we do know about them came from outsiders and enemies, but come on, people. The druids were known for their sacrificial rites. Wake up to the reality that the Celts as a whole were a brutal people. They were headhunters, for fuck's sake. And the barbaric side was what I could relate to. That was the charm. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't out to go headhunting or sacrifice virgins. But I wanted the feel of blood and gore. I wanted to bring forth that which was hiding in the shadows. So, in our little Celtic clan, we decorated our environment with fake skulls, rubber heads, and such. And then one of the members came across a real human skull cap. I think he acquired it from a lab, or at least I hope he did. And that became our ceremonial drinking vessel. Irish whiskey, but you had to drink it fast because the skull leaked. So, during this druidic period, I presided over a wedding or two and performed many rituals and ceremonies, but eventually that group splintered as people moved away. This was pre-internet, so it was hard to keep something like that together over a long distance. But that aspect, that primal way of the ancients, has stuck with me and made me realize it's important to dig deep, to get at the roots. So, after that period, I had very little connection with the witchy pagan types. Then, in 2011, I married a beautiful black-haired gypsy who just so happened to be a dark pagan, a very dark pagan. And later that year we put on a pagan festival at the winery we lived on. Now, the participants were fine, the atmosphere was cool, we had a good time, but damn, it was lacking. It didn't have that edge. It reminded me of a virgin drink, like a virgin daiquiri or a virgin Bloody Mary. It tasted fine, but the most important ingredient wasn't there. I couldn't understand what these people were getting out of this. Maybe I'm just a more extreme person. It takes more than this soft, fluffy shit to get me off, if you know what I mean. So, On November 1st that year, the Sect of the Horn God was launched because I wanted to restore evil to modern heathenry and take back the Horn God's testicles from the hippies that neutered him. It's important that paganism, druidism, and witchcraft stays in the shadows, is dark, dangerous, and weird. Otherwise, what's the appeal? It's like having a hot girlfriend you can't fuck. What's the point? So, to my modern pagan witchy-poo friends out there, if you're gonna play the devil's game, take his name, literally or figuratively. Don't try to make it palatable for modern society. Be honest and don't pretend like there isn't something transgressive about what you're doing. And if any of your moo-moo wearing, tree-hugging companions ask you why you're doing it, tell them to fuck off. But if they don't leave you alone, you can invite them to be a part of an authentic druid ritual. Just saying.